Well, the game of the weekend, Sunday Night Football, the unfortunate loss to Kansas City from the Buffalo Bills. Y'all got us, man. Y'all did it. It stung worse than any other Bills loss up until this point.
Yeah, I could tell just from talking to you.
Yeah, it was just, I didn't think I would take it so hard because in the back of my mind, I knew that there was always that chance, but I was just so excited for the opportunity to just land in a Super Bowl. And it just didn't happen. We couldn't do it. There's no one thing you can blame it on. It was just, well, except for Kincaid missing the ball. That was a huge blunder by him.
We're talking about on the fourth down throw?
On the 4th and 5.
The fact that he even got the ball there was ridiculous. By the way, viewers, this one's going to be all over the place. Just letting you know.
Yes.
Because I'm a Chiefs fan. He's a Bills fan. We're just diving in
immediately. This is complete 100% emotional discussion.
Yes, correct. We were recording Sunday night.
It just ended an hour and a half ago.
Maybe, yeah.
There is no analysis here. There's no data. This is just raw emotions out on the floor.
Yes.
Because this one hurts, guys. Okay, if there's fellow Bills fans out there, it hurts. Now, let me step outside of that, okay? And it's hard, but let me do that. Let me step outside of being a Bills fan for a minute and look at the game of football, the NFL as a whole, because I really am excited for you guys. The three-peat, man, to be a part or just in the presence of this type of run in the NFL that's never been done before is amazing. Nothing short of amazing. I'm super stoked for it as a football fan. I hate it because it was the Bills that allowed you guys to have the opportunity to have this awesome success. But just for the game of football, for Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, the whole Chiefs team, the organization, it's never been done before. Congrats to you guys, man. Y'all deserve it because you find a way to win. You play different in the playoffs than you do all year long.
It really is absurd. I mean, it's kind of crazy that Kansas City putting up 32 points the rest of the year would have been like, oh my God, what happened? And then the playoffs, it's no big deal. They just do it. They find a way to do what they need to do. And it really is, like you said, I know people are sick of them. I know they've become the enemy. And I totally understand.
It's frustrating being the team that loses to them all the time. The Bills has a special sore spot for the Chiefs because you guys always do this to us. So that's why it hurts so bad. You know, if this was our first matchup, it was like, all right, well, cool. Even the 13-second game, it was like, yeah, man, whoever had the ball last. But honestly, and I think this is why it hurts so bad, I finally got to the root of it, is when the game started and we went out and we pretty much went 3 and out our first drive, and then you guys just did whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah, Josh Allen tried to throw 2 picks first drive. It was crazy.
But then you ran it downfield. Kareem Hunt scored the first touchdown.
90-yard drive, the first Kansas City drive.
And it was such a demoralizing drive for me as a Bills fan that I think that's where it started, because the entire game there was no momentum gained for the Chiefs or for the Bills.
I disagree. I think it happened when Buffalo scored, when James Cook did the reach out. When James Cook was stuffed and he did a crazy reach out midair to score a touchdown, and then immediately after that, Kansas City went 3 and out, but because they just couldn't run the football, Buffalo got the ball back. That was just that was where the game started to feel like it was shifting to Buffalo, because Kansas City had a chance to go up 2 scores. It was 7-3, and then Mahomes fumbled that RPO, and it was like, oh man, I knew it. I was like, you're just letting them hang around.
That was the closest it came, but for me as a Bills fan, I always felt like there was no moment in the game where I was like, oh, we could win this. Like it never. I know that's probably not right as a fan of a football team, but I'm not going to apologize for it. Like, that's just how I felt. But it was that first drive. It was how the Bills played that first drive was representative of almost the rest of the game. They did get better, but still it was just, it felt like we started 2 steps behind, it just felt like that. And then also I think the big turning point in the whole game was the 4th down that Josh Allen,
100%.
Oh, like even Gene Steratore was like, yeah, I think like a third of the football was over the line.
It was tight.
And what really upset me was the way that the side judges walked out there. One was standing on the first down line, and then one was standing behind it. And I know that you said like it deferred to the guy that had the better angle.
Well, it's not even the defer to me. It's like I see that happen all the time, where the people are on different lines and they angle it up. It just ultimately is kind of like just comes down to how they called it on the field. Now, like, I'll say this. I have only seen it once. I'd like to see the aerial view again. Because to me, and I know people on Twitter are acting like the sideline shot, you can see the first down. In my opinion, I can't really see it clearly from the sideline shot. Really? Maybe you can. Maybe I'm wrong. The aerial shots where I thought, oh, he might have got that. Like he might. But it was really close. It's like, you know it's probably deferring to call on the field.
What gets me is, you have an iconic rule analyzer in the booth, Gene Steratore, and I swear he's like disagrees with a call on the field on most games, like 80% of the time.
Right.
That's insane to me. So has the game changed where he like is he just still doing the eyeball test and like they have better angles and stuff? It just feels like it's weird that there's such a differential in what he says versus what actually gets ruled on the field. And the fact that they didn't give us the first down as the call on the field to go back and then, review it and see if they could reverse it. It was depressing to me. Of course I wanted the call to go our way and that it was biased, but I really truly believe that he did get the first down, just with some of the shots that they showed.
When I didn't think he made it. I was like, I don't think he got there. And they showed the replays. I was like, I don't think he got there. They showed the aerial view. And I was like, oh, he might have got there. I was like, it's really close. It's like, if he gets there, it's like he gets there for a second and then it's over, which is all you need. I will say this, you might disagree with me. And I'm not just saying this because it's Kansas City Buffalo. It's maybe because it's the Eagles and then we got the Bills. When you run the tush push, to me, that's kind of a risk you're running. You know what I mean? Because anytime you're running that play, you can't see the football. You can't locate it. You're running the freaking rugby, cheat play that, and now credit to the Bills for doing it. Kansas City actually did a pretty good job stopping it a lot of the night, but it feels like that's one of the things you're risking when you do it because you don't have direct sight on the ball.
I think the Bills were like 1-5 tonight on that. But
yes.
And what got me was like Allen always goes left and he never changed it up. It's like, guys, they know which way you're going. You're not Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Like, you don't do it as good as them.
Right.
And then finally he just jumped the pile, which if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. But that's what Allen had to do. And I think he played some pretty good football. Like, he didn't make any super dumb moves or anything. I think there was opportunities for him to run that he didn't take, and he stayed trapped in the pocket too long. And then also when they got into the red zone, they didn't utilize the run game as much. They put it on, like, they tried to do QB sneaks and they tried to do like passing plays, where if they would have just handed it off to Cook or Ray Davis, I think they probably could have got a touchdown. Like, I think I texted you one time, it's like, why aren't we using Cook? Cook got us all the way down here, and now we're just like, nah, I don't think we're going to use that guy anymore. It just didn't, and we're 3 yards out from a touchdown.
Cook was kind of the player of the game, really, even for Buffalo.
And we didn't lean on him in the red zone.
It kind of was Cook versus Xavier Worthy, is what it felt like. Xavier Worthy balled out in the first half. Cook just was dominating most of the game. Kansas City could not stop the run. And on the opposite side, Kansas City couldn't really run the ball. They did run with Kareem Hunt. He got 64 yards, but they got stuffed so many times. Obviously, they can't really rely on Pacheco because of the injury. He's just not been the same. And that's why I was actually getting worried. You know me as a Chiefs fan, I tend to not get worried because it's Patrick Mahomes. But the fact that Buffalo was running at will and Kansas City just couldn't really run, I was like, man, that's a bad sign. And let's just go ahead and move to this because I feel like this is the most interesting part. Kansas City is in the red zone, trying to put the game away. And I don't have the player's name, I'm sorry. But Buffalo comes up with that huge sack, absolutely huge sack, where Kansas City ends up having to settle for a field goal with 3:33 left in the football game. This is why, ultimately, this is what it comes down to me. Buffalo, if I had told you before the game, you're going to get the ball down 3 points with 2 timeouts and 3:33 left, you would have been like, oh my God, that's perfect. Be like, that's exactly, because the fact that y'all were getting it back, I was nervous. I was like, man, they're going to score as time expires. And Buffalo moved, got to a 4th and 5, and Spags hit with a crazy blitz that Josh Allen wasn't expecting. You could tell from watching it, it confused Josh Allen. He had to run, roll around right. Credit to him for even getting the ball to Kincaid, but that blitz really sealed the game right there. He had the ball with a chance to win it at the end.
Well, when they went to the aerial shot, the blitz, he rolled out right, which is the side the blitz was coming from.
Right.
And if he would have rolled left, he had a first down with whoever the running back was for that play. They snuck into the flat wide open, and he never saw him because his back was to him. I mean, credit to Spags, man. I don't understand how the Bills can play these guys over and over and over again, and they don't ever think like, oh, Spags is going to do something different this time. Like, let's change things up. I feel like sometimes that Joe Brady's a great OC, but I feel like sometimes the plays are very Cincinnati-like, if that makes sense.
Like
they're not creative. The most creative play of the night, got us one of our biggest gains, was that play action rollout with James Cook to the flat when because Kansas City ran it to seal the game pretty much. The rollout, that was a very creative play. Like, everybody thought the run was coming. Josh Allen holds onto the ball. James Cook rolls out, throws the ball into the flat. They get a huge gash play. For the most part, it's like, all right, shotgun, fake the handoff, find somebody in the middle of the field. It's just like, I just don't feel like there was a whole lot of creative plays. There was not a lot of quick throws like to the outs. We were really working the middle of the field. And I just think that, we could have had a few plays that would put us in positive yardage with like Dawson Knox and Kincaid. I just don't think those guys were used as much as they should have been. It was kind of one-dimensional. There was nothing that we could pull out of our back pocket. And you got plays like these mesh plays that Kansas City was running where you have Travis Kelce throwing a fake pick play and then having, I think it was Worthy, come across the middle and freaking hit us for 19 yards,
Right.
Like there was none of that with the Bills.
And Buffalo did a good job defensively shutting down Kelce. He was irrelevant. He was completely irrelevant. I think he had 2 catches for maybe 20 yards, if that. They completely took him out. Thankfully for the Chiefs, Worthy stepped up, which was good because somebody was going to have to step up. Juju, hey, thanks for showing up. 60 yards, couple big plays, which was great. I'll say when I look at just my notes and writing it down, obviously before halftime, Buffalo getting the penalty and deciding to go for 2 points, taking a point off the board, going for 2. Maybe that doesn't ultimately shape the outcome, but it does affect the way the game's played. In the third quarter is when the Buffalo started to take over the game, and they only got 6 points even through all that. I wrote down here just in the third quarter, Milano got that sack on Mahomes, which forced Kansas City out of field goal range. They had to punt it. Buffalo went on the drive for the touchdown, where Cook reached out over the goal line. Then, immediately after that, Kansas City goes 3 and out because they just could not run the football. And then Buffalo got it 4th and 1. They fumbled, but they recovered it. A tush push that was stuffed, and reviewed. But there were a lot of fumbles in this game too, and Buffalo recovered every single one of them. So they won the turnover battle and still just came up short at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's kind of the story of it, right? And I think everything just boils down to that 4th and 1 stop, that tush push review. I think that was the winner of the game right there. That's just my personal opinion. I think that's where I knew I was all right. Well, this is probably over. I think that's when I texted you, congrats, because I knew that y'all had pretty much had this in the bag. The thing is, I almost feel like if you're playing the Chiefs in the playoffs and you're not up by 2 scores going into 5 minutes or less left in the game, you're not going to win.
Well, to be fair though, if they got that, they wouldn't have been up by 2 scores. If they would have, they would have been up by 8. So then Patrick Mahomes would have got the ball back. I'm looking with 12 minutes left in the fourth, down by 8. So even if they convert and score there, it's not over by any means. Like, Mahomes just needs a touchdown 2-point to tie it, but it obviously puts you in control of the football game.
Right. So that would put us in control.
Exactly.
But I still, my point to all this is, if you're any team playing Patrick Mahomes and you give him 5 minutes and you're not up by at least 2 scores,
you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble. Because Patrick Mahomes has a whole nother level to play when it's crunch time.
Yes.
And
he was perfect tonight.
And you just can't stop him. There's nothing you can do. So yeah, I mean, congrats to the Chiefs. It was a really, really fun game to watch because it's always the best. I mean, they're instant classics as soon as they come on the television.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And not trying to take a shot. I'm genuinely just curious. To go back to the end of the football game. So Kansas City leads 32-29. 3 points. Field goal ties it. Touchdown wins the football game. Buffalo gets the football with 3 minutes, 33 left. 1st and 10, run for loss. 2nd and 11. Josh scrambled for 13. You get another 1st and 10, incomplete. 2nd and 10, incomplete. 3rd and 10, short pass. You get to 4th and 5. And then ultimately the blitz and the Kincaid throw that was incomplete. When Buffalo got the ball with 3:33 left in the game, touchdown wins it, couple timeouts. Like I said, I feel like that's the spot where you want to be in. I felt like they were in the driver's seat. do you feel like Josh Allen, and he played good. I'm not knocking anything. I'm just asking as a fan, do you feel like he didn't deliver? Because it feels like if you're going to beat Jordan, if you're going to beat Mahomes, like in that moment, that's where he had to go do it. Even though he played a great game, it's like you had the ball with 3 minutes down 3 and you didn't do it. And that ultimately, as good as you played, that is the difference between everybody else and Mahomes. That's what it feels like to me. Does it feel like that to you?
So no, not really, because he didn't do a good job at picking up the Spags blitz packages but nobody does. Like, it's just so hard for Spags to be identified on the field. You don't know what he's throwing at you. I mean, they talk about it every Chiefs game that's played. It's like the way they line up, it's the most creative defensive game in the whole entire NFL. Like, it is just a masterclass in defense.
It is. They don't win these Super Bowls without Spags. There's just no chance.
No, they don't. So that's one thing he didn't do well at, but I don't really knock that too much because like that nobody does well at that. I think he executed. He got the ball. I mean, on a corner blitz that he didn't see coming, in falling down, throws the ball off his back right foot and lands it perfectly in Kincaid's arms. And he just didn't catch it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a hard one, though. Like, he had to come back to it. Like, it was low. It was not like he could.
For what Josh Allen was going through, that's the best outcome you could have asked for.
I concur. I'm just saying, like.
I think that was the huge blunder of our ultimate demise. But throughout the game, I think Josh Allen got rocked early. He got flustered early.
He did. He was flustered at the beginning of the game. You could tell. Yeah.
And when he gets in his head like that, when he starts doing that shaking his head thing, it's hard for him to gain that confidence back. And honestly, I just think that the moment was too much for the whole Bills team tonight. I really do. Patrick Mahomes is like a monster under your bed, and I just feel like they haunt the Bills all the time.
It sucks because, like, even obviously I'm ecstatic. You know, the Chiefs have a chance to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Like, I remember.
Hey, look, just to be clear, I'm all in on you guys right now.
No, I understand, and it's like this was such a worthy matchup, and it was great. And these felt like the 2 best teams in the league, and it was great seeing them go to toe to toe. And when I asked that question, that's not me taking a shot at Allen. That's just me saying, when you play the Chiefs and you don't, put the dagger in, you get the ball down 3 with 3 minutes. It's like. Regardless, I understand the blitz. It's like, but stuff like that's coming. It's like, if you want to be the king, if you want to win the AFC, the NFC teams don't have to go through that. They just don't. But the AFC teams, whether it's, it sucks, but you just can't beat that one dude. And he's got the greatest coach of all time, which helps.
And to kind of wrap this up and to go back to what I was saying earlier about the creative play calls, it's like, guys, that most of the night, Spags is going to be blitzing you in some package or some form. Where's your answer to that? Where's your quick passes? Yeah. Where's your out routes? Where's your safety valves? It was constantly like, okay, let Josh Allen sit in the pocket, dodge the blitz, find that guy deep downfield. Ooh, he makes that bullet throw to, I think it was Shakir maybe.
Yes.
And then he makes that over the top to Matt Collins, like dialed in between 2 safeties pass. So he's forced to make these like crazy long throws that are really beautiful passes, and that's what he does that wonderful. But how about let's not have to make him do that? Like let's do other things that work. So I just don't think they did a good job at utilizing the tight ends, the quick routes, the out routes, the slants, things like that. Like Patrick Mahomes was doing early in that first drive. Like that first drive, it was a constant over the middle, like 10 yards, 8 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards. Just chopping it down all the way to the touchdown. I think that's what the Bills failed at.
I understand that. I think also maybe at the end of the game, that last drive, and I understand there's only 3 minutes left, but you do have 2 timeouts. I don't love that they went away from James Cook
running
there.
Yep.
Because the first play, they handed it to Ty Johnson, and he was stuffed for a loss of 1. Okay, I like Ty Johnson. James Cook is cooking. He is dominating.
How many times they ran it after that?
None.
A
Josh Allen scramble, but that's it.
Doesn't count.
So I understand you get behind the sticks, but to take the ball out of James Cook's hands when he has kind of dominated the game.
He had to be averaging 5.5 a carry.
Oh yeah, more than that. I think he was averaging much more than that. Actually, I can tell you because it finished. So he averaged 6.5.
6. See, I was close.
Yeah.
And we're just going to take that away when we got 3:30 left on the clock with
and
2 timeouts.
It's like we are not in hurry up mode.
All we had to have was a field goal to tie it.
Field goal ties, exactly.
So it's not like, we get downfield and we get stopped on 4th. It's like we're not losing, at least. We have a chance to kick the field goal and tie it.
Yes. 100%.
Now, we probably lose anyway, but at least we have a shot.
Well, and that was kind of what the difference in the game, too. It felt like for a large portion in the game, particularly in the second half, Buffalo was staying ahead of the sticks because of the runs on first down. Kansas City just could not get Buffalo behind the sticks. So they'd be, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, worst case scenario, and then get to 4th and 1 and be able to get it. It's like Kansas City couldn't get Buffalo behind. And then that last drive, you go away from Cook, you run Ty Johnson, and you end in 2nd and 11, which allows Spags and the Chiefs to start to get more aggressive. Yeah, they get it back. You can get to 4th and 5, but that loss kind of sets you back. That's the only thing. I liked most of the play calling. It felt good. It was well coached. But I do think James Cook maybe should have been more involved there at the end. But either way, buddy, it was a great game. I know I genuinely do feel bad for you because I know you guys wanted this one, and I felt like it could have been y'all's year. I really did.